Alrighty. Okay, so this will be a quick review on how to create a chain. We want to get started by just a single plane. There are several ways to do that. If you're starting fresh like this, one quick way would be to just grab a plane 3D, drag it out holding Shift F. We're going to go to edit mode so we can see all of our edges, and as we know we have way too many here. Before this is made Polymesh 3D, we can go down here to initialize, and over here we have H divide and V divide, H for horizontal and V for vertical. That'll bring it down to what we need it to be. Now that we've done that, we can make it Polymesh 3D, and we're going to have a single face, a single polygon that we can use. And if you notice the dotted edges around here, we can definitely preemptively take care of that by going down here to geometry, crease, and uncrease all, and that'll make that go away. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a little bit of an elongated kind of shape for the chain. Q again, and we'll go to BZM for Z modeler. I'm gonna inset it to about here, something like this. So good. And even from this point, I think it's pretty safe to insert multiple edge loops. That way I can control that it'll be exactly on the center, right? So I'll just put it right here in the center. On those two over here, I'm going to delete single poly. That's fine. Just delete those. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Control W just to make sure it's all one group for now. One group for now. Okay, next we can go to Dynamic Subdiv, Head Dynamic. It's going to apply smoothing to it over here. We don't want that smoothing. We just want to add some thickness to it. Something like that. That works for me. Maybe a little bit more. There. All right. General perspective, make sure we're shifting first mode. So we can create another one of those over here, and another one of those over here, another one of those over here, right here, and right here. We can Control Alt to unmask these guys and these guys. Bring them in a little bit to somewhere around here. Sure. Then we can Control Alt to unmask just this corner, just this corner right here. And we can bring those out to get those nice spikes that I want to have on my chain. Next we can turn off dynamic for now. It doesn't really matter. So next up I want to go ahead and stitch. And notice that I'm hovering over the point when I'm doing that, right? Point action. So that's something very important, right? Face, and that gives me those options. Edge, that gives me those options, and point gives me those options. So stitch, 2 points, 2 endpoints works for me. I'm just going to bring those in like so, just to create this kind of spike. Oh, oops. First point right here. Something like that. I'm going to go back to dynamic, turn it up. And that works for me. Let's go ahead and hit apply. That way it's on mesh now, and it's going to have those on the 2 edges. Now I'm going to go back over here to stitch, and instead of leaving it on 2 endpoint, I'm going to do 2 midpoint. Okay, because all of those that pink edge, all those faces over there, I'm just going to condense, and that'll give me this nice kind of sharp edge along the chain, basically. And midpoint means that it's going to connect them basically halfway through. So, oops, I connected one on the wrong one, so I want to make sure I connect them correctly. Like this, the outer edge looks good. So the same for the inner edge as here. There we go. Got it. Like this. Control W to give it all single group. All right, what do we want to do next? Next, I want to create the top and bottom ones of this. So I'm going to go to W, rotate this upwards to about here. And hold shift and rotate this -9 degrees. And then do Control W and send this all the way down to the same place. Somewhere like this. Alright, let me rotate this way. I want to make sure Control Shift Alt on the faces that I'm not going to need. Okay, going to Geometry, Modify Topology, and Del Hidden to delete the hidden ones. Next, I have my custom interface over here, but you want to go to polygroups and auto groups right here, and I'll give each one a separate color, which is useful for what we are going to do next, which is Control tap on this. Oops. Hold Alt to reset all of those. And while holding Control, I'm going to send this down to like here. Then I'm going to Control tap on this one. Hold Alt to reset, just in case. And I'm going to Control drag this all the way over here. Okay, this is going to give us the top and bottom of this, and just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm actually going to rotate these while holding Shift 90 degrees. Okay, so Control W for making everything a single group. Now I want this top one to be its own group, and I want this bottom one to be its own group. Let me choose a color that's going to be a little bit more obvious, more obviously different than the rest of them. It's not cooperating right now. I don't want a green. Sure, that's different enough. That way, this is going to be the part that when we're doing the tri-parts, this is going to be the part that's going to repeat itself, basically creating a copy of the pink part on the top and continuing, and wherever it ends, it'll cap it off with this one. Make sure that, let's go to display properties, double. Make sure that these are open because we're going to want those edges to be welded, right? So, so far so good. So, next we want to go to the brush, create insert mesh. We're going to do new. This is going to be the part that you probably want to save. If you do want to save it as a brush, it's going to be right here, save as. Okay. Now we have an insert mesh, and that just means that it's a brush that we can just insert wherever we want. Okay, not quite the chain, but it's a useful tool for many other purposes. So for our purposes, we're going to go to stroke. We gotta do curve. Activate curve mode first, and that's gonna give us this kind of situation. All right, see how we're looking. So first, you're gonna notice these are super broken. Okay, not exactly what we want. not exactly what we want, but by default the try parts are activated, so it capped it off here. Let me make it a little bit larger so we can see it better. It did cap it off on the edges, so that's nice. Let's go down here to brush, or scroll down to modifiers. No, actually I'm gonna click right here and then grab a brush, and I'm gonna tap on this top part, and that's gonna dock it here for me. That way it'll keep it open. Okay, so try part's already activated by default. That's very nice. Let's hit weld points, tap, and now we have our point somewhat welded, although it looks horrific. Let's increase that curve res to like 4, something like that. That'll be a little bit less ugly. A little bit less ugly. It's giving us a little bit of a thicker here. But that's fine. So something like this. Not the end of the world. Increase the curve res a little bit as well, just to give it a little bit more freedom in this regard. And again, if you like the brush to be directly on that path here, it's going to be right here in depth. You can do the embed at 0. And as you brought it to the surface, you tap this, it'll send it right there. Yep, that's pretty much what you need for creating brushes. I'm sorry, custom brushes. If you do want your edges to be able to connect to each other, then you just don't need to do the top parts, and they'll do that for you. Hopefully that helps. And we'll see you all in class.